Ashbourne Castle did not sleep easily after Kael's declaration. Guards doubled their patrols, servants whispered in corners, and nobles feigned loyalty with trembling smiles. But beneath the polished surface, fear spread like rot, and Morwen fed on it. In her private chamber, she bent over a silver basin filled with blackened water. Strange herbs smoldered in the air, their smoke curling like snakes. Her reflection wavered in the liquid, and another face shimmered into view, pale, hollow-eyed, cloaked in shadow. "My queen," the voice rasped, ancient and cruel. "You call again." Morwen's lips curved. The girl's mask weakens. Her alpha clings to her as though she were treasure, but I would see her crumble before his eyes. "Tell me, how do I tear the illusion apart?" The shadow's laughter slithered through the room. "Force the truth into light. The curse thrives in secrecy, in hidden mirrors and private fears. Before the gaze of many, it will splinter like glass." Morwen's eyes gleamed. "Then I will arrange a gathering he cannot refuse. And when all eyes are upon her," her smile sharpened, "the mask will break." Selene, meanwhile, sat by the fire in Kael's chamber, her hands wrapped around a cup of untouched wine. The flickering flames painted shadows across her face, highlighting every tremor in her jaw. Kael sat across from her, unarmored, his dagger lying forgotten on the table between them. For once, he looked less a conqueror and more a man, but no less dangerous. "You should rest," Selene whispered. "So should you," Kael countered. His gaze lingered on her too long, unyielding. "But you fear sleep." Her throat tightened. "When I close my eyes, I see it. The mask breaking. The faces of those who would laugh, recoil, hate me." Kael leaned forward, golden eyes burning. "Let them laugh. Let them recoil. It changes nothing. Do you understand, Selene?" She shook her head, tears pricking her eyes. "How can you say that? You don't know what I am beneath this curse." His hand reached across the table, capturing hers with startling gentleness. "Then show me." Her breath caught. The curse stirred violently, a storm beneath her skin. I can't. If I force it, it will hurt. It will consume me." "Then let it break on its own," Kael said, voice rough but steady. "And when it does, I will be here. I will not turn away." The vow in his tone nearly undid her. Her chest ached, her body trembling with the weight of hope she dared not hold. She looked away, afraid of what he might see in her eyes. But Kael did not release her hand. 2 floors above, hidden in the rafters, a pair of Morwen's spies whispered in the dark. "They grow closer," one hissed. "If he binds himself fully to her, the queen loses her hold. Then she must not be allowed to succeed," the other replied. "The queen has called for a grand hunt. All of Ashbourne will attend. And there, before gods and men, the mask will fall." Below them, unaware of the noose tightening, Selene clutched Kael's hand as though it were the only anchor in a world of shadows. And perhaps it was. The horns of Ashbourne echoed through the morning mist, deep and resonant, calling the court to gather. Nobles in velvet and steel lined the courtyard, their laughter sharp, their eyes sharper. Horses pawed at the earth, restless under jeweled saddles. At the heart of it all, Queen Morwen presided with a smile polished to perfection. "The Hunt of Ashbourne," she proclaimed, her voice carrying over the crowd. "A tradition to honor our ancestors and test the courage of those who claim greatness." Her gaze slid to Selene, sweetly venomous. "Today, all eyes shall witness strength and truth." Selene stood beside Kael, wrapped in a cloak of midnight blue. She kept her chin high, though every muscle trembled beneath her skin. The curse pressed against her like a tightening noose, eager to splinter under the weight of so many watching eyes. Kael, astride his massive black steed, reached down, his hand brushing hers in full view of the court. A dangerous gesture of possession. Whispers rippled through the crowd. The Alpha King favors her. But who is she really? What secret does she hide? Morwen's eyes glittered with satisfaction. The hunt began. Through the twisting forest paths, nobles loosed hounds and arrows, laughter mingling with the thunder of hooves. Yet Selene barely heard them. Each moment, the curse whispered louder, the mask over her scars trembling like a fragile mirror. Kael kept close, his gaze darting often to her pale face. "Breathe," he ordered softly, a commander's edge in his voice. "Do not give them your fear. It belongs to me now." Her lips trembled. "And if the curse shatters? Then let it," he growled. Let it break before all their eyes, and let them choke on their shock while I stand at your side." The words steadied her, though the curse throbbed violently at his defiance. The hunt reached its climax in a vast clearing where Morwen had staged the final test. A massive white stag, an omen beast, was driven into the open. Its antlers shimmered with unnatural light, its eyes gleaming red. Gasps erupted. Such creatures were rarely seen, let alone hunted. "This," Morwen announced, "will decide who among us bears true courage." Her gaze pinned Selene. Perhaps Lady Selene, honored guest of Ashbourne, will prove her worth? The crowd turned, eager, expectant. Selene's breath caught. The curse writhed beneath her skin, ready to tear the mask away under the strain of every gaze. Kael's voice, low and lethal, cut through the tension. "She owes you nothing." But Selene felt the trap tightening. If she refused, they would brand her weak. If she tried and failed, Morwen would triumph. Slowly, she slid from her horse, every step toward the clearing, a battle against the curse and her own terror. Kael moved to follow, but Morwen raised a hand. Tradition demands the challenger stand alone. The Alpha King's growl rumbled like thunder, but Selene glanced back at him, her eyes pleading. "Trust me." For a heartbeat, he hesitated. Then, with a snarl, he reined in his horse and let her go. Selene stood in the clearing, bow in hand, the stag's blazing eyes locked on hers. The crowd's breathless silence pressed in from all sides. The curse screamed in her veins, her vision blurring as the mask faltered. Her skin burned, the hidden scars clawing to the surface. Morwen's lips curved into a smile of triumph. "Break," the curse whispered. "Break, and let them see what you are." Selene raised the bow, her hands trembling, caught between the beast before her and the ugliness threatening to spill free. And in the shadows of the clearing, Kael's golden eyes never left her, fierce with something beyond rage. A vow unspoken. "Fall or rise, I will not leave you." The clearing held its breath. Selene stood alone, bow trembling in her hands, the stag before her blazing like a creature from legend. Its antlers shimmered with pale fire, its hooves scorched the grass, and its red eyes pierced into her soul as though it could see every scar she tried to hide. The curse screamed inside her, clawing at the fragile mask that kept her face smooth, whole. Her vision blurred, every heartbeat another crack in the illusion. "Break," it whispered. "Let them see the monster beneath." Her fingers fumbled against the bowstring. She could barely feel her body. She felt only the heat of the curse, rising like wildfire under her skin. On the ridge above, nobles lean forward, murmurs sharp as knives. She falters. She can't even hold the bow. Was this the Alpha King's choice? A coward? A weakling? Morwen's smile widened, a predator waiting for blood. Beside her, Kael's jaw locked. His hand hovered over the hilt of his sword, as though he would carve his way down to Selene and slaughter anyone who dared laugh. But tradition bound him still. For now. The stag lowered its head, antlers gleaming with killing light. The ground quivered as it pawed, ready to charge. Selene's breath hitched. She could not fight both the beast and the curse. One would break her. Then Kael's voice cut through the silence. Harsh, commanding, unshakable. "Selene!" Her head snapped toward him. His golden eyes locked on hers, fierce and unyielding. "Look at me," he growled. "Not them, not her, me." Something shifted in her chest. The curse writhed, furious at his defiance, but his voice anchored her. The trembling in her hands steadied just enough. She pulled the bowstring. The stag thundered forward. The arrow flew. For a heartbeat, the world held still. Then the shaft struck deep into the stag's chest, piercing through the unnatural glow. With a roar, like a breaking storm, the beast collapsed, its antlers shattering into sparks of fading light. The clearing erupted gasps, shouts, chaos. Selene stood frozen, chest heaving, the bow slipping from her grasp. The curse inside her pulsed violently, cracks racing through the mask of beauty across her skin. She clutched her face, terrified it would shatter here, before all of them. Kael's stallion lunged forward, carrying him into the clearing in a blur of black and steel. He dismounted in a single, fluid motion, reaching her just as the curse flared. His hand cupped her jaw, firm, steady, claiming her. "Enough," he growled, as though he could command even the curse itself. "You are mine, and no magic will take you from me." The curse spasmed, fighting, but it did not break. Not fully. Not yet. Selene collapsed against him, trembling, the mask barely holding. Above them, the nobles murmured in awe, fear, confusion, and Morwen's smile, though still painted on her lips, had grown brittle, her eyes sharp with rage. Her trap had not sprung. Not yet, but she was not done. The stag's body lay cooling in the clearing, its blood seeping into the earth like an omen. Nobles clustered at the ridge, their whispers rising in a storm. She felled it alone. No woman has ever... The Alpha King's choice may not be weakness after all. Others muttered darker things. She looked strange. I swear her face, did you see it flicker? Something unnatural clings to her. The rumors spread as swiftly as fire on dry grass. Kael paid them no heed. He stood in the clearing, Selene in his arms, his golden eyes daring anyone to step forward. Enough! He roared at the gathering. His voice rolled like thunder, silencing every tongue. You came to watch. You have seen. She faced what none of you dared and triumphed. Question her again, and you question me. A hush fell. Not one noble met his gaze. Selene, still trembling, felt the weight of 100 stares. Shame gnawed at her how close she'd come to breaking, to exposing her curse. But when she looked up at Kael, she found only fierce pride burning in his eyes. You were magnificent, he whispered, low enough only she could hear. The words undid her. Her throat tightened, her chest aching. She turned her face into his shoulder, hiding the tears she couldn't stop. Above, on the ridge, Morwen's nails dug into her jeweled throne until blood beaded beneath her rings. Her perfect smile did not falter, but her voice was venom. She will ruin everything, she hissed to the shadowed advisor at her side. She is strong, the figure rasped. Stronger than the curse should allow. Morwen's gaze sharpened. Then we break her another way. If the mask will not shatter in the open, we will force her heart to betray her. The Alpha King cannot protect her from herself. Her smile widened, cruel and cold. A ball. We will hold a grand masquerade to celebrate her victory. And under the eyes of gods and men, I will strip her bare. That night, Selene sat in Kael's chambers once more, her cloak discarded, her body wrapped in exhaustion. She pressed her hands to her face, half expecting to feel the ridges of the scars, but the mask still held. Barely. Kael stood by the window, his silhouette cut sharp against the moonlight. They will not forget what they saw today. You won their fear, and some, their respect. She shook her head. No, they saw me falter. They saw it almost break. He turned, crossing the space between them in 3 long strides. His hand caught hers, pulling it away from her face. They saw your strength. They saw you face a beast alone while they cowered. Do not diminish what you are. Her voice broke. What I am is cursed. Kael's grip tightened. No, what you are is mine. Her heart stuttered. The curse pulsed, furious at his claim, but in his arms she felt something she had never dared. Safety. For the first time, she let herself rest her forehead against his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. And in the shadows beyond the door, Morwen's spies slipped away, carrying every word back to their queen. The masquerade was already being planned. The castle buzzed like a hive. Word of Selene's victory over the stag spread through Ashbourne faster than wildfire, and with it came Queen Morwen's announcement. A masquerade. A grand celebration in the Great Hall to honor Selene's triumph. Nobles from across the kingdom would attend, their masks glittering, their tongues sharper still. But Selene knew better. The queen did not throw celebrations without venom hidden beneath the silk. In her chamber, bolts of fabric spilled across the bed, silks, velvets, gauze spun with silver thread. Maids chattered nervously, offering gowns with trembling hands. This one, my lady, it will dazzle. Or perhaps the crimson to match the king's colors. Selene stared at them with hollow eyes. She saw not gowns, but chains. Every thread a trap waiting to tighten around her throat. When the others finally left, she sank onto the edge of the bed, pressing her face into her hands. The mask of beauty pulsed faintly, the curse reminding her it could falter at any moment. A knock at the door drew her from her dread. Kael entered without waiting for her answer, his presence filling the room like a storm. His eyes swept over the discarded gowns with disdain. They dress you like a doll for slaughter, he growled. Selene looked away. It's what she wants, to parade me before them, to break me. Kael stepped closer, tilting her chin up with a finger. Do you think I will stand by and let her? Her voice cracked. You can't fight the curse, Kael. Then I will fight everything else, he said, low and fierce. Every noble tongue that dares whisper, every eye that dares linger. If your mask breaks, let it. Let them see. And when they do, they will see you as I see you mine, untouchable. Her heart stuttered at the heat in his words, the vow burning brighter each time he spoke it. Why? She whispered. Why do you care so much? You could have any woman, unscarred, unbroken. Kael's thumb brushed her cheek, his voice raw. Because none of them have survived what you have. None of them make me want to tear the world apart to keep them breathing. The words rooted deep in her chest, dangerous and sweet. For a moment, she let herself lean into his touch, let herself believe. But even as warmth bloomed in her, dread coiled tighter. Because when the masks fell at the masquerade, she feared nothing, not even Kael could shield her from the truth. Far above, in her tower chamber, Morwen watched the preparations with serpentine satisfaction. Her hand hovered over a crystal vial filled with dark liquid, its contents swirling like smoke. Let her wear her mask, she whispered. Let her walk into my hall draped in silks. When the music swells, when all eyes are on her, I will shatter her curse with one touch. The vial glowed faintly in her hand, a promise of ruin. And below, the halls of Ashbourne prepared for a night of beauty, betrayal, and revelation. The great hall of Ashbourne glittered like a jewel. Chandeliers dripped with crystal light and silken banners in gold and crimson draped from the high vaulted ceiling. Musicians played sweet, haunting melodies while masked nobles twirled across the marble floor, laughter echoing like the hiss of serpents. Selene stood at the top of the grand staircase, her hand resting on Kael's arm. She wore a gown of midnight silk that shimmered with threads of silver, a mask delicate as frost covering her face. To anyone else, she was radiant, untouchable. But beneath the glamour, her skin burned with the curse's restless hunger. Every glance from the crowd felt like a knife. Every murmur, a reminder that her mask could splinter at any second. Kael leaned close, his voice rough in her ear. Remember, none of them matter, only me. His words steadied her as they descended together, the crowd parting under his presence like waves before a storm. From her throne at the far end of the hall, Morwen watched with a smile sharpened by malice. Draped in blood-red silk, she raised her goblet high. To Lady Selene, she proclaimed, her voice carrying across the chamber. The slayer of the omen stag, may her strength shine as brightly as her beauty. The nobles cheered, some out of awe, most out of fear. But behind their jeweled masks, whispers spread like poison. Too perfect. I swear her face flickered during the hunt. Something unnatural clings to her. Selene felt every word coil around her like a tightening noose. The dance began. Nobles spun and laughed, masks glittering, eyes sharp as daggers. Kael refused all partners, his hand never leaving Selene's waist. His golden gaze alone was enough to silence any who dared approach. Yet Selene could not shake the feeling of being watched, of being hunted. When the music slowed, Morwen rose from her throne, descending like a serpent gliding down its coil. She carried a crystal vial in one hand, its contents glimmering faintly, hidden from most eyes but not from Selene's. Selene's blood ran cold. She recognized that glow. It was the same magic that had first twisted her stepmother's jealousy into a curse. Morwen approached, her smile dazzling. My dear, she purred, offering the goblet she carried. A toast to your triumph. Selene froze. The curse roared within her, clawing, panicked. She knew if she touched that drink, her mask would not survive it. Kael's hand tightened on hers. His golden eyes narrowed, flicking to the vial, then back to Morwen with lethal suspicion. The hall hushed, every noble watching, breath held. Would Selene drink? Would she refuse? Either choice could shatter her. The great hall of Ashbourne stilled. Music faded, laughter died, and every masked gaze fixed on Selene. Morwen stood before her, goblet in hand, smile polished to perfection. A toast, she repeated sweetly, to honor our guest of triumph. Selene's throat tightened. The curse throbbed inside her veins, furious, desperate. That goblet glowed faintly with the same black magic that had twisted her life. If she drank, the mask would shatter. If she refused, shame would crush her in front of every noble in Ashbourne. A trap woven perfectly. Her fingers twitched, hovering near the cup. Her pulse thundered in her ears. Drink, break, fall. The curse whispered, gloating. Kael moved. His hand shot out, seizing the goblet from Morwen's hand with the speed of a predator. Gasps rippled through the hall. No one had ever dared snatch anything from the queen. Kael raised the cup high, his golden eyes burning. "If Ashbourne offers a toast," he said, voice sharp as steel, "then I, as Alpha King, drink first." Morwen's smile faltered. "Your Majesty, that is hardly—" But Kael did not wait. He tipped the goblet back and drained it in one long swallow. A hush crashed over the court like thunder. Selene's eyes widened, terror slicing through her. "Kael!" The goblet clattered to the marble floor, rolling away. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then Kael exhaled, his gaze locking on Morwen. "Bitter," he said flatly. "Your wine has teeth, Queen." 1,000 whispers erupted at once, the nobles trembling behind their masks. Morwen's smile returned, brittle but unbroken. "Forgive me. A rare vintage, perhaps too strong for unaccustomed tongues." Kael stepped closer, looming, his presence suffocating. "If you would poison anyone in this hall, Queen, know this. I will take their cup every time." His hand slid to Selene's waist, pulling her to his side, claim undeniable. Especially hers. Gasps flared, murmurs sharpened. He claimed her, before everyone. Selene's heart pounded so fiercely she thought the curse would burst through her skin. But Kael's arm around her anchored her, shielding her from the storm of stares. Morwen's smile curved, venom sweet as honey. "How noble, Alpha King! How predictable!" Her eyes flickered with promise. This is not over. That night, long after the music resumed and the nobles spun their gossip like spiders, Selene sat in Kael's chambers, shaking. "You shouldn't have done that," she whispered. Kael leaned against the firelight, eyes glinting like molten gold. "And leave you to drink her poison? She will come for me harder now." His jaw tightened. "Then let her. I will break her, as I break every enemy." He stepped closer, his hand brushing her cheek with surprising gentleness. "You are mine, Selene. No curse, no queen, no god will take you from me." Her breath trembled. The curse flared violently against his vow, but beneath it, something shifted, something fragile, something dangerous. For the first time, she wondered if Kael's vow might be strong enough to shatter the curse itself. The masquerade ended, but Ashbourne did not sleep. The nobles whispered long into the night, voices hissing like snakes in the dark. The Alpha King drank the Queen's toast. He claimed the girl before all. If Selene falls, so falls he. By dawn, gossip had spread through every corner of the kingdom, and in her tower, Queen Morwen fed on it like blood. The crystal vial Kael had drained lay shattered on her table, shards glittering like fallen stars. She paced before it, her fury sharp enough to curdle the air. "He defied me," she hissed. "He stole my moment." The shadowed advisor at her side bowed low. "The Alpha King is dangerous, bold. He protects her too fiercely for the curse alone to work." Morwen's lips curved into a blade's edge. "Then we cut deeper. If we cannot break the mask with poison, we will strike her heart." Her hands curled around a blackened mirror, its surface rippling like water. Whispers spilled from it, ancient voices offering secrets older than the stones of Ashbourne. "Show me her weakness," Morwen demanded. The mirror pulsed and Selene's reflection shimmered to life. She was curled in Kael's arms, asleep by the fire, her face soft in the rare peace of dreams. The image burned Morwen's eyes, hatred coiling like smoke. Her laugh was low, venomous. "So that is it. She has begun to trust him, to need him." She touched the mirror's surface, whispering to the shadows. "Then we will rip him from her, and when her heart shatters, the curse will consume what little remains." Meanwhile, in Kael's chambers, Selene stirred awake to the warmth of firelight and the steady strength of arms wrapped around her. For a moment, she forgot the masquerade, the curse, the venom in Morwen's smile. For a moment, she felt safe. Kael's voice rumbled low against her hair. "You slept." She blinked up at him. "You watched me?" "I do not sleep easily," he said simply, his golden eyes unreadable in the firelight. "Not when danger walks these halls." Her chest tightened. You shouldn't care this much. It will only make her come for me harder. His hand slid to the small of her back, anchoring her. Let her come. Every move she makes only binds you closer to me. Selene's breath hitched. She wanted to pull away, to shield him from the curse that burned beneath her skin. But instead, she whispered the question that had haunted her since the night of the hunt. Kael, if the mask breaks, if you see what I truly am, will you still say these words? His eyes caught hers, fierce and unyielding. I do not vow lightly, Selene, and I have already chosen. Curse or no curse, scars or no scars, you are mine. Her heart trembled violently. The curse flared in protest, but for the first time, she felt its power waver. And far above, Morwen watched through her mirror, her smile sharp as poison. If his vow anchors her, she murmured, then I will make him break it. The trap was already being laid. The next morning, Ashbourne woke to rumors darker than night. A border village had been burned, its people stolen into shadow. The nobles whispered of raiders, of spirits, of curses spreading beyond the palace walls. But in Morwen's tower, she watched her mirror with delight, for she knew the truth. It was her doing. Kael stood at the war council table, jaw tight, voice a growl. A village burned under Ashbourne's protection. This is no raid, it is a challenge. Selene sat beside him, every eye in the chamber heavy on her. The nobles whispered when they thought she could not hear. The cursed girl brings ruin. Where she walks, fire follows. She clenched her hands beneath the table, forcing her breath steady. Kael slammed his fist down, silencing the whispers. I will ride at dawn. Whoever dares touch my people will answer to me. Selene's head snapped up. You can't. It's too dangerous. His golden gaze cut to her, fierce but not cruel. Would you have me cower behind stone while innocents burn? I would have you live, she whispered. A ripple went through the council chamber at her words. Intimate, exposed, dangerous. Kael's eyes softened just for her. Then trust me. That night, Selene followed him to the stables, her cloak pulled tight against the cold. Horses stamped restlessly, their breath rising in clouds. Kael, please. Her voice cracked. This feels wrong, like it's meant for you. He paused, turning toward her. His hand lifted, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Selene, I have fought wars since I could lift a blade. Whatever trap waits, I will tear through it. Her throat ached. But if you fall, I will not fall. His words were sharp, certain. And if I do, you will rise in my place. The curse twisted inside her, hissing in delight at the thought of him gone. Her heart shattered. She flinched, clutching her chest. He caught her wrists, steadying her, his eyes narrowing. What did you feel? She shook her head, lying. Nothing. But he knew. He always knew. From the shadows of her tower, Morwen watched them with her mirror, laughter low and cold. Yes, she whispered. Let him ride into my snare. Let her watch him bleed. Her fingers traced the black glass, and the reflection shifted, showing a forest drowned in mist, its trees whispering with the voices of the dead. There, the Alpha King would meet his reckoning. And if Selene's heart broke, the curse would finish what Morwen began. The morning broke gray and bitter, clouds heavy above the battlements. Kael rode at the head of his warriors, black cloak snapping in the wind, golden eyes fixed on the horizon. Behind him, armored wolves shifted restlessly, eager for blood. But the farther they rode, the thicker the mist grew. It clung to their skin like cold fingers. It swallowed sound until even the pounding of hooves felt muted, unreal. The trees loomed like ghosts, branches dripping with a darkness not born of nature. Kael's instincts prickled. This was no simple raid. This was summoned. Back in Ashbourne, Selene stood at the highest tower, her hands clutching the stone so tightly her knuckles bled. She could feel it, the curse stirring, feeding on distance, on fear. Every mile Kael rode away, her mask trembled. Cracks spidered faintly across her reflection in the glass of the tower window. No, she whispered, her breath fogged against the glass. Stay alive, Kael. But the curse hissed with delight, whispering promises. When he falls, the mask will shatter, and all will see you as you truly are. Her tears stung, but she forced them back. I won't let her take you. I won't. In the forest, Kael raised a hand, halting his warriors. The mist thickened into walls, curling unnaturally, pressing them inward like a cage. The horses snorted and pawed the ground, eyes rolling white. "Shields!" Kael ordered, his voice carrying steady, unyielding. The wolves drew close, a ring of steel and breath and fury. Then the whispering began. At first faint, like wind through leaves. Then sharper, clearer voices of the dead, calling their names. Some of the younger soldiers flinched, their grips faltering on their weapons. Kael's golden eyes narrowed. He dismounted, sword flashing free. "Show yourself, witch!" And the mist answered. Shadows poured into form figures, half flesh, half smoke, faces twisted with malice. Not raiders, not men, spirits. Summoned by the curse. The first lunged, shrieking. Kael met it with steel, his blade burning with the force of his aura. One strike, and the shadow split like torn cloth only to reform again, darker, hungrier. Around him, his warriors fought, blades slashing through mist-made flesh. But the shadows kept coming, endless, unyielding, a trap with no exit. On the battlements of Ashbourne, Selene screamed as pain lanced through her chest. She collapsed to her knees, clutching herself as the curse surged violently. Kael's danger fed it. His struggle bound it tighter. Her reflection in the stone-polished floor, warped eyes hollow, face monstrous. For a heartbeat, she saw herself as the curse wanted her revealed. Hideous, broken, unworthy. "No!" she gasped, slamming her fists against the stone until blood marked her palms. "I will not let you win." But the curse only laughed, savoring her desperation. In the forest, Kael cut down another shadow, chest heaving, his golden eyes blazing like fire through the mist. And far away, Morwen watched through her mirror, her laughter soft and deadly. "Fight, Alpha King. Bleed for her. For every strike you take, her mask cracks further. Soon, she will see you fall. And when her heart breaks, her curse will finish what I began." The mist boiled, thick as smoke, choking Kael's senses. His warriors fought at his back, steel flashing, but for every shadow they cut down, 2 more rose from the earth. "Hold your line!" Kael's roar cut through the chaos, steady as bedrock. But even his wolves, hardened by war, faltered against enemies that refused to die. Sweat and blood ran down their faces, their growls turning ragged. The forest itself seemed alive with hunger. Kael's golden eyes burned as he raised his sword again, aura flaring like a storm. His blade cut through another spirit, and for a moment the mist recoiled just long enough to reveal the figure waiting at the center of it all. A woman draped in shadows, her face veiled, her eyes burning red. The witch. In Ashbourne, Selene staggered from the tower chamber, ignoring the startled gasps of servants. Her heart pounded, her skin burning as if the curse itself was clawing from the inside. Every strike Kael made echoed in her bones. Every wound he took tore through her chest. She ran through the corridors, her bloodied palms smearing the stone. "I can't sit here while he bleeds. I can't." The curse whispered with delight. "Go to him. Break the rules. Let your mask shatter in his sight." She clamped her hands over her ears. "Shut up!" But the voice only laughed, wrapping around her like chains. "If you follow, you'll lose everything. If you stay, you'll lose him. Choose, Selene. Choose." In the forest, Kael faced the shadowed witch. She raised her hand, and the mist thickened, pressing like a vice. "You do not belong here, Wolf King," she hissed. Her voice carried the echo of many. "Leave her to us, and you may yet survive." Kael's lip curled. "Selene?" His grip tightened on his sword. "You dare speak her name." The witch smiled, cold and cruel. "She is cursed. She is mine. And when she breaks, she will drag you down with her." Kael lunged. His blade met the witch's shadow flesh with a crack of power, sparks bursting in the mist. She staggered, but her laughter filled the trees, hollow and endless. Behind him, his warriors fell one by one, dragged into the mist by clawed hands. Time was running out. Selene reached the stables, breath ragged. The guards tried to stop her, but one glance into her burning eyes made them step back. Her trembling hands gripped the reins of a black horse. The curse roared within her, warning, taunting. "Ride to him, and he will see you as you are. He will turn from you. He will break." She swung into the saddle, tears streaking her face. "I would rather break with him," she whispered, "than live whole without him." And with that, she drove the horse into the night, racing toward the mist. Far away, Kael fell to one knee, blood dripping down his arm, his breath coming heavy. The witch loomed above him, her shadow stretching long. "Your strength is nothing here," she said softly. "When you die, she will die with you. Her mask will crumble, her heart will turn black." But Kael lifted his head, golden eyes blazing even through pain. "Then I will rise again, and I will tear you apart." The witch hissed, and for the first time, faltered. Because something stirred in the mist. A heartbeat, a presence. Selene was coming. The forest writhed with mist, shadows clawing at Kael as he rose to his feet once more. His blade dripped black ichor, his aura blazing like a storm barely held in check. The witch's laughter echoed. "You will break, Alpha King. Even your fire cannot burn away eternity." Kael's chest heaved, his blood slick on his side. Still, he raised his sword. "Then I'll burn until nothing remains." And then hoofbeats. The sound cut through the mist like thunder, sharp, defiant, alive. Kael's head snapped toward it, eyes widening. Selene burst into the clearing astride the black horse, her cloak flying like dark wings. The mist recoiled at her arrival, shrieking as if the curse within her clashed with the one fueling the forest. "Selene!" Kael's voice tore raw from his throat. "No!" But she was already there. She leapt from the saddle, landing lightly beside him, her dagger flashing into her hand. Her heart thundered, the curse screaming in her blood, cracks forming across her mask. She felt it splitting, pieces threatening to fall. Yet she did not hide. Her eyes blazed as she raised her blade. "You don't fight alone." The witch recoiled, hissing. "Foolish girl! You bring your curse into my realm, and it will devour you both." Selene steadied herself, though pain lanced through her veins. She lifted her chin. "Better to be devoured fighting for him than to live caged by you." Kael's gaze locked on her, fierce and burning with something deeper than fury. Pride. Claim. A vow unspoken. Together, they turned to the shadowed witch. The battle erupted. Kael's sword cleaved through mistborn warriors, his aura a blazing shield. Selene darted at his side, her dagger flashing silver, striking true where the shadows thickened darkest. Every strike she made tore more from her mask cracks webbing across her skin, her beauty flickering, revealing the monstrous reflection beneath. Gasps echoed from Kael's warriors as they glimpsed it, horror flashing across their faces. Selene's breath faltered. For a heartbeat, fear nearly stopped her hand. "This is it. He'll see. He'll turn from me." But Kael's voice thundered beside her, shattering her spiral. "Do not falter, Selene. You are stronger than her lies." His golden eyes met hers burning, unwavering. And in that moment, he wasn't looking at her mask at all. He was looking at her. The witch shrieked, mist writhing violently as if to smother them both. Selene screamed back, hurling herself forward, dagger plunging into the witch's chest of shadows. Light burst through the clearing, tearing the mist apart. The witch staggered, shrieking, her form dissolving into smoke. "No, it cannot be. Not while the curse binds you." Kael struck next, his blade severing her in a blaze of gold. The shadow collapsed, the mist scattering into nothingness. The forest fell silent. Selene collapsed to her knees, gasping, her mask cracking further, fragments scattering like glass into the earth. Kael was beside her instantly, sword falling forgotten as his hands closed over hers. "Selene?" His voice was rough, desperate. "Look at me!" She tried to turn away, shame burning her. But he caught her chin, forcing her eyes to his. And in the flickering remnants of her mask, Kael saw her true face. Not the flawless beauty the curse had crafted, not the monstrous reflection it whispered she was, but the woman beneath. Raw, scarred, real, and he did not flinch. "My," he said fiercely, as if daring the curse to defy him. "Mask or no mask. Do you hear me? You are mine!" Selene broke tears, spilling, not from the curse, but from the fragile, dangerous hope that bloomed despite it. The curse shuddered inside her, furious, weakened, but not yet destroyed. And far away, in her tower, Morwen screamed into her mirror, glass cracking under her rage. The forest lay still, the mist gone, but the air heavy with what lingered. Kael's warriors gathered, bloodied and shaken. They had fought bravely, yet none could unsee what had happened. Their gazes slid to Selene where she knelt beside Kael. Her mask, though still clinging in broken shards, had cracked wide enough to reveal glimpses beneath scars etched across her skin, shadows that pulsed with the curse's hunger. They whispered, low but sharp as knives. The girl is cursed. Her mask is breaking. The Alpha fights for a monster. Selene's stomach twisted. Every word felt like a blade. She wanted to shrink, to vanish into the soil itself. But Kael rose, pulling her up with him. His golden eyes swept the warriors, fierce and unyielding. "Look at her!" he commanded. "Do you see a monster?" No one answered. Their silence was louder than words. Kael snarled. "She fought at my side. She bled for you, for this kingdom. And still you whisper against her?" His aura flared, golden and terrible, forcing heads to bow. "Let it be known," Kael said, voice like thunder, "that Selene is under my protection. Any who dare call her cursed, call me cursed as well. Any who challenge her will face me." The warriors dropped to one knee, trembling under his fury. But the whispers would not die. They would only shift into shadows, waiting. Selene felt it. And though Kael's vow wrapped around her like armor, the curse coiled inside her chest, whispering, "They fear you. They will always fear you. Only when he turns will they speak their truth aloud." By the time they returned to Ashbourne, word had already spread ahead of them. Morwen stood at the palace gates, a vision of cold beauty, her crimson gown a warning. Nobles clustered behind her, eyes gleaming with hunger for scandal. She stepped forward, voice honeyed poison. "My brave Alpha King and his lady." Her gaze slid to Selene, lingering on the cracks in her mask, and her smile curved like a blade. "You look tired, my dear. The forest is cruel to fragile things." The nobles tittered, their laughter sharp, cruel, hidden behind jeweled fans and masks. Selene stiffened, the heat of shame burning her chest. Kael's arm went around her instantly, pulling her close. "Careful, Queen. Your tongue drips too much venom." Morwen's smile never faltered. "I only worry for your companion." The people whisper. They saw what lies beneath her mask. Gasps rippled. The words hung heavy in the air. Selene's breath caught. Her mask flickered again, the cracks glowing faintly under the curse's strain. Kael growled low, his hand tightening on her waist. "Let them whisper. I will silence any tongue that speaks against her." But Morwen's eyes glimmered, victorious. "You can silence men, Alpha King? But can you silence fear?" Her words slithered through the crowd like smoke, planting doubt, fanning the embers of gossip into fire. And as Selene met Morwen's gaze, she knew. The Queen had drawn first blood in the war for Ashbourne's throne.